time for my reviews of all of the major E3 conferences. Now, I'm only going to do the major three, those being Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. I'm going to go through them in kind of a pseudo order and basically talk about what I liked and didn't like. So first, let's start with Microsoft, who kicked off the show. Now, a lot of you were with me on Twitter when we were watching this conference, and I was making a lot of jokes about the talking and the wasted time. And I know that a lot of people disagree with me because a lot of people think it was really good, but I just kind of felt it was like, okay. It definitely wasn't bad. Like, I reacted quite angrily when the conference ended, mainly because I was pissed off with some of the things that were shown. But when I sat down and thought about it, it was okay. I thought it was okay. And I'll explain to you why I didn't think it was neither great nor bad. So let's just run through it. So they started out with Halo 5, obviously. I wasn't a big fan of the demo, not because the game itself was bad, because I'm sure the game will be good, and the setting, because it was on St. Helios, which is, for those of you who don't know, that's the elite homeworld. And it looked cool, in terms of that, but there was just all this slow walking to begin with, and the combat didn't start till halfway through, which was a recurring theme for the demos. Then, the next thing was this CGI trailer for a game from the developers of Metroid and Mega Man, which was called Recore, which looked interesting. Like, the concept, basically this woman in the desert with this robotic dog. But it's a CGI trailer. So I can't get hyped for it because I don't know what the game is about. And it's confusing to me because the game is coming out early next year. It's coming out in less than a year and you couldn't show anything. I don't get it. You should have shown something. And then for Fallout 4, look, this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but seriously, can people shut the fuck up about Fallout for now? We get it. You're excited. And yes, it does look good. But seriously, not everybody's gonna be interested in it. And it's stupid to say that one game can win an entire show. It is. Not to mention the fact that what they showed was the same stuff that they showed at the Bethesda conference the day before. They showed basically the same stuff. It was just condensed. Now, here was something that was pretty cool. Here was something that actually caught me by surprise. There's cross-mod support for PC and Xbox One versions of Fallout. That's impressive. But, at the same time, seems like a bit of a dick move that it's like, well, you bought it on the wrong platform, PlayStation guys, so you don't get this. A recurring element throughout E3 2015. But, no, and Fallout 3 is included as well. That's cool. I believe what they announced next, and this was really the big one, and you could tell when people were cheering, backwards compatibility for the Xbox One. It's limited right now. There aren't a lot of games. Like, a lot of the ones now are these really early Xbox 360 titles, like Perfect Dark, and I think Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and stuff like that. But by the end of the year, they said it's something like 100. So, it's not full backwards compatibility for people saying it is. It's not. But, that's still impressive. Especially when Sony didn't announce anything of the sort, and you have to pay to play those games. And then I believe it was the Xbox Elite controller, which, it looks cool, but it's like $200 here, so I ain't buying it. Then, here's where I started to get bored. So you had, the EA guy come onto the stage to talk about EA Access, then they announced Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, which is cool for those of you who played it. I haven't. And then here's where I really started to get annoyed. So, Forza 6. You guys know that I don't really care about Forza. I like Horizon, but I don't like the Forza series. Why? Well, mainly because Forza 5 was lacking so many features and content, and was shipping broken and incomplete, literally. Now this one will have 450 cars, so less than some of the games from the 360. Woohoo! 26 locations. So less than some of the ones on the 360. I mean, this is like half of what Gran Turismo 5 had. So there's that. Then we had a CGI trailer for Dark Souls 3, which, okay. CGI trailer for Dark Souls 3. I don't care about CGI trailers, sorry guys. Then The Division will have an open beta on Xbox One in December, which I mean, we should have expected. It's clear they've got some kind of deal for this game. And we also got the the release date, sorry, at the Ubisoft conference. That's March 8th, which is good because we've been waiting a while. And then we had Rainbow Six Siege, and this was pretty cool. This was pretty cool. With the backwards compatibility, people who buy Rainbow Six Siege on Xbox One will get, Vegas and Vegas 2 for free. That's pretty cool. And here was another thing. There was this game, and it looked really cool, but then I saw scrolling across the screen with Xbox and Windows 10 exclusive. So in other words, multi-platform game. Gigantic, which, I didn't know what it was at the time, but apparently it's a MOBA. And, then they came out with some ID at Xbox games, some of which were pretty cool, like, that Cuphead. Beyond Eyes looked interesting, but then there was that one from the Gone Home developer, which, yeah, you could tell he was a hipster. You could tell he's the kind of guy who goes to Starbucks with his Mac to work on his self-published novel or something. And then there was this game called Ion from, DayZ. Really weird. Very strange. And now, here's where we start to get back to more of the AAA stuff and the more interesting after this next one. So, we knew that Rise of the Tomb Raider was going to be at their conference. I didn't know how bad the demo was going to be, but that demo sucked! And I know a lot of you were like, what are you talking about? Tomb Raider was great. Yeah, Tomb Raider was good. But this demo was bad. I mean, how can you even call this a gameplay demo? It was just walking to a cliff, walking alongside the cliff, then climbing up the cliff face, and oh, the ice breaks! Who didn't see that coming? Dramatic! I mean, that was so dumb. It was not a gameplay demo. It was hardly a gameplay demo. No combat, no crafting, no non-linear stuff or anything interesting like that. No, just climbing. That sucked. And this is not talking about the quality of the game when I talk about bad demos, okay? This is just the demo. It was not good. Here was something awesome. I love this. Rare Replay. For the 30th anniversary of Rare, 30 Rare games for $30. That's awesome. And then, oh, I love this. When Rare were like, oh, we got a new game coming out. It's called Sea of Thieves. It's like this multiplayer pirate game. And they were kind of walking around. It was kind of boring. Then they got into the ships and were shooting at each other. It was so cool. And, oh, well, now it's fucking ruined because it's a multiplat with Xbox and PC. Multiplat, in other words. Again, a recurring theme throughout, this conference and Sony's. Then Fable Legends, yeah, Fable Legends. And, then they had this, HoloLens presentation. This was I wasn't happy when I was watching this, mainly because one thing that I kept thinking was there were games that I wanted to see that weren't there. I mean, we knew they weren't, but I kept reiterating that there was a lot of wasted time. Now, HoloLens, this demo was cool as a tech demo. It was really cool. And crazy, really. But, I don't know. This isn't the kind of thing that I wanted to see at the E3 presentation. Especially when games like Scalebound and Crackdown didn't come. They talked about how they didn't have enough time, yet they wasted this time on things. And that wasn't a huge waste, but they spent too much time on it, if you ask me. And then we came to the end of the conference. Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Who didn't see that coming? Now, this is kinda dumb because it's only the first game instead of the trilogy. 1080p 60 FPS. Big surprise. And then, this was kind of a surprise, but then it kinda ended on a whimper. Gears of War 4 got a gameplay demo. I was only expecting a trailer, but it was a full gameplay demo. That was fine until I started the demo. Some of you guys won't like this, but I also found this demo to be boring as hell. It was just a lot of slow walking, looking around at stuff, set pieces, more walking. Oh, let's cut through this door. Oh, don't touch that. Oh, I touched it and my flashlight doesn't work anymore. Wow, who didn't see that coming? And poorly voice acted dialogue between two characters. And then they finally get to some combat, like 1 minute left. And then the thing jumps, screams, oh, cut to black, Gears of War 4, and people clapped at that. I mean, look, this is not knocking the game. I'm sure it will be a great game. And look, and this was a surprise that they showed the demo, but I hate slow walking. I hate slow walking in these demos. Do it for a minute max, and then get into the gameplay. And I know some of you will be like, oh, what, you don't like getting immersed? It's a fucking shooter. It's a shooter. If it were Deus Ex, then yeah, I'd want some walking. But this is not Deus Ex, this is Gears of War. And that was the end of the conference. So, really, when I look back on what they actually showed, it wasn't bad. I'll say that much. It was not bad. It was probably the best conference Microsoft have had for a long time. That much is for sure. But my main problem was that the bulk of the praise really lies in these features that they brought instead of the games. You know, like the backwards compatibility. That's, you know, it's a feature, and it's a great feature. Modding, things like that. Those are great features, but they aren't specific games. And while they did have new games, one of which was a CGI trailer, and the other of which was gameplay for a game that's not coming out until late 2016. You see the issue that I have here, and also the fact that they just said they didn't have enough time for Scalebound, Crackdown, and Quantum Break, and that's just bullshit. There was a lot of stuff that they could have cut out. A lot of stuff. For starters, you didn't need Fallout 4 to have such a long presentation. Could have just had him come out, say Fallout 4 is gonna have mods, that's it, because we already saw Fallout 4 for 30 minutes the day before. Yo, and you didn't need to waste all of this time on... You didn't need to waste all this time on these boring demos, instead of actually showing things that would have been more interesting. And again, you announce a game like Recore, which looks cool, but then you don't show anything. You know what I mean? But overall, yes, I look back on it, and actually, you know what? It wasn't bad. I'll give it that. I would say that if I were to give it a grade, it would be something like, probably a B-. B- to a B, probably. Because it was okay. It was okay. And I think I didn't give enough credit at the time when I watched it, because when you look back through, it wasn't that bad, that's for sure. Best conference they've had in a while. That's it for Microsoft's conference. Stay tuned for my Sony and Nintendo ones following soon.